in passing yards with Dak earlier this season than in the last 7 games without him. Joined now by Super Bowl champion and Cowboys legend, friend of the show, DeMarcus Ware's in the building. Throw him up, DeMarcus, let everybody know. All right, D. Jealous as hell. All right, let me get this started with a football question. Is Dak good enough to fix the Cowboys' issues next season?
I think Dak is one of the guys that can fix one of the issues, which is maintaining a good drive, getting in a rhythm to where now they're not turning the ball over. They can have better stats on offense, score more points. But the main thing you didn't talk about is the defense. The defense needs to be fixed because at the end of the day, when the teams start getting into the playoffs, that's when the defenses wake up. The offenses are there to maintain, control the clock, keep things going, but the defenses, they really turn up. We always know that, and that's not there right now.
Look, I agree with D. Ware, and I think the operative word there, he said, Dak is good enough to fix one of the issues, but Dak Prescott don't tackle nobody. Dak Prescott don't play middle linebacker. Dak Prescott can't cover nobody. So I think we would be foolish to convince ourselves that, well, Dak Prescott were back, things would be different. Again, I submit to everybody, the Cowboys were 1-3 with Dak Prescott. Now, they were losing in like more fanciful fashion, bigger scores, losing by 49-38 to the Cleveland Browns instead of losing 21-3 and 21-6. So they were prettier losses, but they were losses nonetheless. Again, I go back to the year everybody compares this Cowboys season to 2015 when Tony Romo got hurt. The difference is the Cowboys were winning before Romo got hurt. The Cowboys were still losing when Dak Prescott was out there. So I agree with D. Ware wholeheartedly. Like, Dak Prescott can fix one of the issues, but it's kind of like that game when you try to slam the hippos down. You try to hit one, and then here comes another one. You try to, you try to smack one of them things, and there go another one of them hippos. Like, sure, you could fix the passing offense, but then what about the lack of rushing offense? Fix the lack of rushing offense, but what about the passing defense? It's just a game of hungry hippo that Dak Prescott cannot single-handedly fix.
Hey, D. Ware, you know what's crazy about Acho? He must like you way more than me, because when I say the exact same thing you said, all of a sudden I got to go up here and have 2 hours of debate when all DeMarcus Ware said is that Dak is one of the leaders of this team and obviously a productive player. D. Ware, can you set him straight? Because I know in absence, the heart grows fonder. In his absence, looking at this team, it's night and day. Shouldn't Dak just go out there, perform, and his value's gone up just because he's been absent?
You know what the thing is, man? It's almost like the heart left the team. I'm talking about from a leadership standpoint, defensively, offensively. I know that a lot of guys been injured on the offensive line. There's a lot of different names on the defense. But the thing is, I'm talking about the heart, the grit when players get out there and really, I mean, when you put them pads on and you hear that, I didn't hear that last night. Right?
Nope,
I've seen a lot of guys walking around. There's no mentality. There's not a lot of character in the team just from that point. So from my perspective, that's the leadership that's missing that Dak had for the team. Yeah, they were losing football games, but they were losing them, like Acho said, in a different type fashion. But no matter what, they were still scoring. Teams were still scoring a lot of points on the Dallas Cowboys. Again, it goes back to the defense. How can we improve the defense? If you're giving up 150 yards a game, I'm just guessing right now, you're going to lose football games, no matter how you put it. And then if you have guys blowing coverage, not being responsible in the right places, that's going to lose football games regardless.
Marcellus, first off, let me clarify something, okay? I don't just disagree with you and agree with D. Ware. I just happen to like D. Ware more than I liked you because I grew up in Dallas and I was fond of his play. Like you, on the other hand, I didn't like very much. But that's besides the point. Let me talk to D. Ware's point. I never said that Dak isn't necessarily the heartbeat of the team, but a heart don't matter if you still got clogged arteries. Your heartbeat don't matter if you still obese. Your heartbeat don't matter if the rest of your body can't function. So Dak Prescott is the heartbeat, so to speak, of the team. But the problem is the Cowboys team already has too many issues. And Sel, let's not act like Dak Prescott didn't have a whole bunch of empty calorie stats. Can we bring up this full screen for my dog, DeMarcus, and my dog, Marcellus Wiley, please?
They don't want to see all this.
Nah, you don't have to. But people love knowledge. Knowledge is power. Think about this. The highest percentage of passing yards when trailing by 9 points plus. 47% of Dak Prescott's yards came when the Cowboys were down by 10. That's nearly 50%. You remember when you go into the grocery store and you buy them chips? D. Ware don't remember that because you can tell he don't eat chips. But Marcellus, you know this. When you go to the grocery store and you buy them chips, half the bag is just empty air. That's the problem. Half of Dak Prescott's yards are just empty stats. So I'm not saying the Cowboys won't win more or lose more glamorously with Dak. All I'm saying is when they had Dak, they were still losing.
You know what, D-Ware?
Get on him, Wiley.
You already know I'm coming. Look, my dog, hey, he's the king of omission. That means he will put up a full screen like that and have D-Ware going back to the homies in Dallas like, damn, I didn't know Dak had all them empty calories. You look at me. Don't look like I eat a ton of empty calories, but it look like that's all Dak eats. And I'm going to tell you how he did it on this one. He put up there when trailing by 9+ points, 46.8%. I did the math. When trailing by 8 points, just one number off, is down to 3% in empty calories. I just made that up right now, D-Ware, but the point is, I'm trying to win an argument up here. Let's be real. I got a real question for you, D-Ware, all seriousness. If we were to insert Dak Prescott into the lineup healthy next year, just like I'm thinking of inserting you into this show instead of Acho, if you were to insert Dak Prescott into the lineup, what do you think the chances are the Cowboys make the playoffs and be a true contender?
You know what the thing is? Manuel Acho talked about the arteries being clogged, but there was heart there, right? You talked about, and he also talked about the empty calories. So if we can shred some of these empty calories, they're going to lean up the team, right? They're going to be a lot more effective. Hey, you're going to unclog the arteries, and guess what? The blood is going to be pumping, right? And that's when Dak comes back this season. And I feel like from that point, they'll also get the offensive line. They'll have a real offseason to where McCarthy can say, this is the motto of the team. This is the character of the team. These are the leaders that I'm putting the seal on their chest that's responsible for when stuff is not going the right way, y'all need to have my back, which is not there. So, again, to your answer, when Dak gets back, they will be a playoff contender because they will have an offseason to get them there. That's where I'm coming from, because they will have that offseason. But I don't see a lot of these things that's there right now, so we got to go with what we got.
Let me ask you this, D-Ware, because Stephen Jones said it on the radio show this morning. He said, wait a second, we had a lot of the same guys on our defense last year that are on our defense this year, but we're not nearly as efficient or effective. If you were a defender for the Dallas Cowboys, and you know y'all aren't 32nd type talent, you know for a fact y'all giving up 2,000 yards and y'all really aren't that sorry. Are you starting to mentally lose it a little bit? Like, you've been in that locker room, you've played at a high level. If you're looking around and you realize we are better than we are playing, at what point are you starting to look at the coaches and say, wait a second now, coaches, this on y'all?
It's been a lot of times where we've been better. We've had, great names. But the thing, we were still losing football games. And that goes to, you got to put the points on the board, you got to put the pads on, and you got to make them things clack a little bit, right? And I don't see a lot of that. And you can always point the fingers and say, it's the coach. But I remember when we were 13-3 with the Dallas Cowboys and we had 16 Pro Bowlers, no matter what play they called, we were bigger, we were better, and we had a stronger mentality in the locker room on, we're going to beat that man across from me no matter what the coach is called. But there was leadership that was there no matter what that owned it. Do they actually own what the coaches are saying? That's the perspective that I'm trying to get to. Are the leaders actually buying in with what the coaches are saying? Because if you're going from a 4-3 defense to a 3-4 defense, if you got guys that aren't thumpers, they aren't thumpers. If you got guys that aren't two-gappers, they're not two-gappers. So you get them out. You put the guys in that are going to be effective in what you do, and then you'll start winning football games.
Before we let you go, D. Ware, I saw you, what was it, a couple years ago? Not even that long ago at the Rose Bowl. I look the same, still sloppy. You look like you're trying to make a comeback in playing shape. So tell us about the fitness app that you're launching, talking about ownership.
You know what, man, I've been working at my passion project for the last 3 years and changing the locker room into the weight room where I can still motivate people. And I've developed this app called Driven to Win. I wanted to give people not a content-driven app, but a technical-driven app to where all of the things that we got as athletes now are virtually put into your phone to where you really get a virtual trainer using 3D models, augmented reality, artificial intelligence that grows with you, no matter if you're a beginner all the way to the advanced athlete, to where you grow and you get better with it. And it uses the same athlete training science that all of us use as we train, and now putting that in your cell phone. So imagine putting your cell phone up and you can actually see me putting you through a workout, showing you the exercises. But one thing that's cool about it is if you talk into the phone, married with the Apple Watch, which is a beats, also with your beats per minute, it'll tell you how hard you're training. And that's almost like the phone is telling you you're training too hard. You need to be at level 2 or level 3, no matter wherever it is. And it's just cool to now have a full virtual trainer, especially during COVID, that you can work out with if you're at home or in the gym and get the results.
Oh, amazing right there, D. Ware. Good luck, great success with that app. I'll be seeing you around 9 p.m. tonight on my phone to make sure I get out the pantry, stop smoking all them Cheetos.
2 sessions, Marcellus, 2 a days.